Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to today's session. Today you very well know what we are going to discuss. It is sentence filler, double blank mostly. We'll also see the other types which have come in recent examination that we do for all the topics of English. So before I proceed, let me just have a quick confirmation on the mic status. Please type in a quick yes if you can hear me well. Yes, audible. I hope these are not fake. Yes, audible. Yes. I think okay. Then we are good to go. Okay, let me quickly start now with what are we going to discuss today. We will understand the approach, how we go about it. Not please remember, I cannot give you a magic wand here, because all questions are different, but still we'll try to see how we generally approach, and we as usual we'll solve some questions. Okay, so I'll just move out. I love doing this, so I'll continue doing it. The RC and this part is over. Parajumble we have done, sentence correction we have done, close test we have done. These two part for mains we have left. Let's see, we will try to finish these also, and today we will be done with this. Okay, so today we will be closing the all the topics of prelims for sure. It will be done, and then as I have already mentioned and told you repeatedly, in English it is all about how much you are reading. There are only two things important here: your reading habits and vocabulary. Reading habit, long term game. Still you can become better at it. 45 days, 50 days are not small time to see some gradual improvements in your say scores. But vocabulary, something which we have been stressing on from the day one, can be done in very short period of time. So please focus on that. You will see it will be extensively used even in today's session. So with that, I will quickly start the today's session with a few questions. Okay, these are SBI PO prelims 2016. Let us try to quickly solve it. I'll just go on mute for 30 seconds. Quickly type in your answers. I'll tell you my approach, how would I proceed. Okay, so I'm already getting a lot of correct responses. Let's try to see if we will try to approach this problem even if we have very limited vocabulary and understanding of English. Let's try to get into that role and try to solve these questions. So he was dash of playing dash lose with sentiments. So it's talking about playing with sentiments. So playing with sentiments, we all know of his dearest friends cannot be a good term, right? So he is accused, guilty. Proper and right cannot be the word for sure. He cannot be innocent of playing with someone's sentiment. So for sure we can cut this also. He was complained of playing. He was complained of playing. Just sounds really unpleasant to your ears. He was complained of playing. Okay, now we are between these two, and anyone who got he was accused of, sounds very right, but if you did not know the idiom here, you will get stuck here. So he was accused of playing tight and loose. If you did not know what tight and loose or fast and loose is, then you will not get this correct. You can get lucky. You can eliminate three options, but here you might get confused. Playing fast and loose is some immoral thing that you are doing. So irresponsible behavior. That is the idiom here, playing fast and loose, and therefore this is correct. So someone who did not know this idiom might have got confused in these final two. Okay, I hope I am able to express what I want to. So reading again becomes very important. Now let's just see this. Raising dash over funding to media houses. Z Group chairman sought dash of media licenses, and you have options like opinion. Will media licenses give opinion? Media license issuer will have opinion. So clearly these two are gone. Okay. Now raising worry over raising charges. Raising charges is generally used in context of when you petrol prices are raised, or other charges, the amount that you are charged to. Whereas if you want to make into some legal term, it is pressing charges, right? So raising charges again does not sound right. Let's try to read even further. Z Group chairman sought regulation of media licenses before they are issued. If if there is something, there is already a process that they are getting issued, that means there is some regulation how it should be done. So this word really does not, and why I am eliminating is not because of this regulation but because of this charges. Raising charges, it's more like increasing the amount of money. Now I am raising worry, raising concern. I think anyone will get this. Between these two, if I have to choose one, let me go further and read. Z Group chairman sought security of media licenses or scrutiny of media licenses before they are issued. Just think about it. So what does this person want is, just don't start distributing it to any Tom, Dick and Harry. You should scrutinize who you are issuing to. That is what they want to emphasize on. There is sought security of media licenses means, if there was limited number of people, these could be easily tampered with, or you could make false ID license like that, then that should have been. But these licenses we know are backed up by the government, and they are the one who check. Therefore, he is raising concern about security, scrutiny, and not the security. Okay, so I'll have security concern over my passport, scrutiny detail over the licenses which are already being issued to media houses, and there are concern about where these guys are getting their funding from. I hope you understand that. So this security will really not fit in here. Scrutiny should be the right choice. Okay. Scrutiny is you have to go into detail. Like when you apply for your passport, there is scrutiny, right? A police comes for verification. Scrutiny is verification. Okay. Let us quickly go to the next three. Again, I'll be quiet. I'll just wait for the first 3-4 correct answers, and then I can just come back and explain you how I would have approached it. I hope it is clear. Okay, so I already see a lot of responses. I'll tell you my way of going about it. Here, everyone dash familiar with serious theatre is familiar with the effort that it takes to process Shakespearean language dash live. Okay, everyone even dash, now here he is trying to say set a contrast. So everyone even however familiar, whatever this word will be in contrast to what is coming next. Everyone even say remotely comically, let's try to see all the options. Okay, everyone even comically familiar with serious theater. How do you become comically familiar? So this is kind of really stupid choice, I will say. Everyone even comically familiar with serious theater is familiar with the effort that it takes to process Shakespearean language restrained live. Again, it does not. Now everyone even so familiar with serious theater is familiar with. No, if I use the word so, that means I am kind of I am making a contrast here. Everyone even so familiar is not likely to be familiar. Just try to understand this point. Everyone even so familiar with this will not do something, otherwise they are all in flow, right? So everyone so familiar with serious theater is familiar with the effort. He is already, then what is the sentence? Everyone even so familiar, and if is expected to do what he was expected to, then it does not make sense, right? So everyone, what should have been the sentence here? Everyone even so familiar with the serious theater is not familiar with the effort that it takes to process. Then it should have been the correct sentence. Otherwise you are just saying what is expected and not with even so. Just try to understand the nuance here. The sentence here would have been correct if everyone even so familiar. So what the author is saying, so someone or everyone who is knowing it or who is very familiar also does not try to understand. So otherwise this sentence makes no sense. Everyone even so familiar with serious theater is familiar with the effort. Then where is the contrast that he is trying to portray? So this also goes for a toss. Otherwise, to process Shakespearean language, bring life, could have been a correct this one. If the sentence was everyone even so familiar with serious theater is not familiar with the effort. So someone who is very familiar with the theater, but he also does not know what effort it takes to bring the Shakespearean language live on stage. Okay, spooked, I think spoken live he wanted to say, otherwise the word is spooked, which is ghost. So I think this word itself is wrong. So this goes for a similarly familiar, even similarly familiar, both. Anyways, I think I'll cut it with spooked only. So now I am basically left with two options. Okay, now everyone even, I think these are close choices, and what is my logic I'll tell you, you may agree or not. Everyone even remotely familiar or hardly familiar with serious theater, both sounds good to me, is familiar with the effort that it takes to process Shakespearean language dash live. Now just think, directing is more difficult or acting in that language will be more difficult. So it should be your call here, and you can go with any. So direction is more about the nuances of acting rather than the words used, right? Whereas the performers, they will have to work on the nuances of the language which is mentioned in this line to be difficult. I hope I am clear. Please try to understand what the author or the writer of this sentence wants to emphasize on. He is emphasizing on the effort it takes to process the Shakespearean language, performed live. So all these guys who are performing to understand the emotions attached with it, the words that has to be processed in the Shakespearean language, that is more tough, or directing. I think I also thought for some 30 seconds and I went ahead with A. So your choice, you think what is more appropriate here. For me, performance will be more difficult in this context. Okay, let's quickly go to the next one. The government has decided not to make any dash changes in the country's tax dash. Okay, so regime, net, structure, all sounds good. Transparent and hike, I can just cut it, even without thinking. The government has decided not to make any. Will any government say that it does not want to make any transparent changes in the existing structure? Even if it wants to, it will not say that, right? So this is anyways gone. to make any constitutional changes in country's tax revenue. You can make changes in country's tax laws, constitutional changes, not in revenue. Revenue will not be directed by the law. The law will be directed by the constitution. So this part is also gone. Now these two, sweeping or drastically is mostly same. The government has decided not to make any sweeping changes or drastic. Okay, look at this. Drastic changes would have been right. They have written drastically, right? Drastically changes is wrong. So drastic changes is what, if it was there, I would have kind of thought over it. Now the government has decided not to make any existing changes. How do you make existing changes? The change, whatever is there is status quo. You will make changes in the existing. You will not change anything which is already existing, right? Any existing changes does not make sense, right? So these are also gone. So you are left with only the government has decided not to make any sweeping changes in the country's tax regime. Okay, so the laws which are already there, government does not want to make sweeping changes, means kind of making it turn upside down. So they will make some minor, so something like they will include a cess or a kisan cess or education cess, etc. All right, so that is what they will, or 5% extra here and there, but not sweeping changes. Now the last one is really funny. If criminals are dashed to join electoral fray, dash is likely to increase. Now if they are compelled, why will you compel criminals? They are already in plenty, and they are likely to, brotherhood is likely to increase. Brotherhood at gunpoint maybe, but not in normal way. Why will you encourage criminals? And again, harmony by what? Power, or again by extortion. Okay, extortion is my next word. If criminals are allowed to join electoral fray, extortion is likely to increase. This sounds good to me. I'll hold on for it. If criminals are deterred to join, corruption is likely to increase. Why will that happen? If criminals are stopped from joining, why will corruption increase? Now if criminals are invited, why will you invite criminals to join? Increase in voting. Yes, it can happen if they use their muscle power and threaten people to come and vote, of course, but these are all very funny options. If criminals are allowed to join electoral fray, extortion is likely to increase. Makes most sense to me. Okay, good. One positive and one negative could be the thing, but I think this was pretty straightforward. You could not have got this wrong. I thought this was the most difficult one for me, at least out of these 5. Okay, so let us quickly go to the next one, which is SBI PO prelims solution set. I have already written, and you need to know this. If you did not know the first one, playing fast and loose means behaving irresponsibly or immorally. I have tried to consolidate. I have discussed, even if I put BA etc. Please don't admonish me for that. Just forgive me. I have already explained all the answers. Okay, now let's quickly go to SBI PO prelims. Again, set of 5 questions. One question at a time. I'll just go on mute, wait for the first correct answer, and then come back. Okay, I think there's a little punctuation error. Just ignore that. I think for poor it is, so though it has to come with something, right? And I think Here is the point which someone mentioned last time, one positive and one negative word should come. Though something, but something, or it is something, right? So let us see, let us quickly look at the option. Though the country has stopped free medical services for the poor, it is affordable should have been there. So unaffordable both means almost same. It has stopped and it is unaffordable. The contrast is not coming here. Okay. Though the country has rendered free medical service for the poor, it is essential. Again, it is unessential should have been there, and then we should have thought over it. This is also gone. Please try to understand that two words here should be in contrast. Though the country has this, but that, that is the structure of the sentence. Though country has maintained free medical service for, it is admirable. Again, both positive words. Again, does not fit here. Though it has maintained, but it is unadmirable, then it could have been correct. Though the country has favored free medical service for the poor, it is appreciable. Again, you see all the four you could have easily eliminated just because they are not showing contrast. Though the country has instituted free medical service for the poor, it is inadequate, and that makes sense. I hope this is easily understood. Please try to understand. We have to show contrast here. That is how we are supposed to go about it. Okay. Already people are getting impatient for the next question, so I'll just move out and give it to you. Okay guys, I think we got lot of I think C's, and then some of you were confused in E. Okay, let's see how do we go about it. If India is dash on protecting its resources, international businesses appear equally dash to safeguard its profit. So both the term here will have same level of words, right? So if India is not letting the foreign companies use its resources, or they are trying to license it, or some quota on it, the international business also will not open up. That is the they will also try to safeguard their profit. They will also they will also use means which they can safeguard their profit. Okay, so let us see which word fit here. India is dreaded on dreaded are the dacoits, or your bandits, etc. Someone who you are afraid of. So India is dreaded on protecting, just does not make sense, and appears equally fragile to safeguard. India, if it was India is unprepared, or lacking something, word which shows lacking on protecting its resources, and international businesses are equally fragile. So these words first of all should match in their degree as well as in their meaning. So whatever India is doing, they are also being reciprocated by the international companies. Okay. Okay, now if India is stubborn on protecting, the international businesses appear equally weak. Again, it does not make sense, because if one is stubborn, I should also be, the word would that would also be incorrect. If India is stubborn on protecting its resources, international businesses appear equally adamant to safeguard its profit. Okay, this is also gone. Now, bent and determined looks okay. If India is bent on protecting its resources, international business is equally determined to safeguard. I'll just hold it on. In all these questions, we should always have a look at least a cursory glance at all the options. Please do that. If India is approaching on protecting, equally settled to safeguard, just does not make any sense here. If India is approaching on protecting, equally safeguard, equally settled, I do not know where it is going. Now, if India is obsessed on, you never obsessed on, you are obsessed with something. I don't think obsessed on is the correct word here. The preposition first of all is a problem, and then let's move forward. Even if it was, if India is obsessed, first of all, you do not use those words in business context, and even when you are talking about a country and business comparison, obsessed is really not a great word choice. Let's move forward. So we have already two problem, word choice and preposition. Protecting its resources, international businesses appear equally prepared, equally determined. I would have, liked more, or equally prepared here. No, if you do something bad to me, I will be equally determined to reciprocate. So I think even if you are confused, out of these two, which is the better choice here, of course it is bent. I hope this is clear. Approach to, if India is approaching on protecting its, India is just read it, how weird it sounds. Let me try to convince it is correct. If India is approaching on protecting its resources, international businesses appear equally inclined to safeguard their profit. Settled to safeguard its profit, it does not. If it is still okay, let us try to eliminate like this. If someone is already, India is just approaching, it has not reached where it wanted to, then how can appear equally settled? They have already settled. This word should also show a sense of preparation, right? Why, approaching, whereas the international business equally prepared to, or in process of preparing to safeguard its profit. I hope I have made this clear. Okay, let me just quickly move forward before I become irritating for few of you. So let me just go to the next one. I'll go on mute and wait for your answers. Okay guys, okay, I'm getting few I'll just address this. I'm getting few complaints that we are going really very slow. I understand we are going very slow. Please understand, it is not for the initiated one. What I'm trying to, marking these answers are not more than 5-second job for anyone who has, even basic understanding in English. What we are trying to understand is the approach, how we eliminate. Even if I have very limited knowledge of English, how would I proceed towards it? That is the, only objective of this session. I understand. So please bear, there are some good questions coming your way. So hold on, we will see your, the fastness, etc. there. We will, be really be appreciative when we come to that, but please bear with us. We just want to explain few concepts, how to approach, just to give confidence to people who are not very good at English. For people who are good at it, they will just find it joke, right? You just know it, it cannot be. You will not even, you will not consciously even think about this answer. We understand that properly. It is, try to understand from my point of view. Even I mark like that. It becomes really difficult for me to get into a shoe of someone who does not understand this language so well, and try to think from his point of view and explain. That is why I'm taking some time. Please excuse me with that. Okay, I'll just move out of screen and try to explain this. Again, look at this. I'll not take even 10 seconds. I know what the answer is. Obesity and uncontrolled diet act together to increase the risk. I'll not even, this is the best possible. I'll not even, mix lower, put height and take a risk. It does not, but now if someone who has some problem, I am quite sure will get confused between act increase and result aggravate, and that is why I am taking some time. Obesity and uncontrolled diet act together or result together. If you, how can two, element or, say some bad thing result together to? Result together in should have been the correct choice here. I hope I am able to convince this. Just look at the preposition here. Obesity and uncontrolled diet result together in something bad. That would have been. But result together to will not be a great choice, and hence if you are confused between these two choices, I'll ask you to eliminate it. Okay, so I have to find a suitable reason, though I know consciously, unconsciously that this is incorrect, but I have to convince someone who has problem with the language. Okay, so obesity and uncontrolled diet result together in, if it was there, I would have considered. Result together to does not make sense to me, and hence I will cut this, because increase and aggravate were mostly same, and therefore act and result were, where my confusion was. Now obesity and uncontrolled diet taken together to the dash arrest, of course it can't arrest the disease and this one, right? They are talking about increasing it. Put together to, obesity and uncontrolled diet put together to heighten the, again, these are the two things which result in something. They act together to. They put together to does not really sound. Mix together to, again, for the same reason. Again, and this was lower, so this is anyways eliminated. And for the same reason why it is not going with it, obesity and uncontrolled diet put together to heighten the risk of this also I am eliminating. Between these two, I can understand if you still have some, problem, just read this and act, obesity and uncontrolled diet act together to sounds more appropriate. I hope I have been able to convince you on this. Okay, so let me just quickly go to the next one, and I'll just go on mute. Quickly give me the answer. Okay guys, I think this one is very simple. I think this was 2010 May. I think there was some airline crash which it is talking about, directly lifted from, I think, Times of India. The blame game for the air tragedy is already in full swing. This you should know. Even with people with limited skill here should know about, something going in full swing. That means full preparation is going on towards it. Okay, so that is the, again, in full swing is an idiom, and you should know this. If you do not know it, you will in full view, with the authorities involved making attempts to try for themselves, does not. To protect themselves, protect for is wrong. I'm just trying to eliminate now. Even if I did not know that, I am just looking at if I can. Hide for themselves, again, does not make sense. Now is already in full sway with authorities involved making attempts to defend for themselves. To defend themselves, I think defend for, I do not think is the correct, but you should know in full swing means in full preparation. Okay, I hope there is no confusion here. Okay, let me just quickly move to the fifth one and see who answers this in. Okay guys, if you're saying the question is, I have not made these questions, I have lifted from SBI PO prelims memory based questions. So just bear with me, trust me, the kind of questions you are going to see in next 15-20 minutes, your opinion will change. So all this euphoria of answering, and even Punjab board answering it will settle very soon. So just hold on for some time, or we will just see what we are going towards. Okay, human being are dash biological, of course, organism, and survive. There is forward, in order to forward, backward, and undone, and again all goes for a toss. It is very simple, I also understand. So they gave you a chance to score quickly in this. Now let's this is SBI clerk mains. Now the fun will begin from, I think, not from here, after this. So let's see quickly. I'll go on mute quickly. Okay, I hope this was some fun, and I already saw a lot of answers here, and what I would have gone and how would have apprehended me is like catching hold of you. Why will at security check you are apprehended, 15 people will apprehend you. Why? This is, kind of, I'll tell you why I am talking about these first, and then assumed me does not make sense, and none of these. Okay, we'll hold it for some time. Now the confusion I can understand, 2 and 2 there is no, and also even if you had problem with apprehended and assumed, from Delhi, from San Francisco is wrong, so from 2 should be here. Therefore these two options are anyways eliminated, so no confusion there. The confusion is between approach to and accosted to. Okay, all right. So as many as 15 people had accosted me or approached. So let us kind of try to understand the situation here. So 15 people had approached me at security check when I was traveling. If you can, I can understand the confusion. Accosted is really not in, also no. If someone says accosted is approach, it's approach with some I'll say aggression. So let me just come on screen here and try to tell accosted and approach. So if I approach, if I am your fan or someone, I'll just approach with an autobiography. I'll not accost you. I can, I'll come from back and just grab you. So accost is always with that sense of having some aggression involved in it. So robbers accosted you, or a girl was accosted by his supposedly lover. So the person in who is doing this action is having a sense of wrongdoing, and the person who is being accosted really does not want that to happen to him, and or it happens without his will. So that is accost. So that should be the reason. Honestly, if you ask me, as many as first instance, even approach to me looks good. In the correct context, I think it happened with Urjit Patel. He was accosted to add the security check. I'm not sure if I think till that I'm not even sure if this exam had happened, if it is in reference to that. So add the security check, it is trying to emphasize that even at the security check he was being accosted to. He was accosted. Some few people came and they accosted him. So with a violent intention of having an argument with him or trying to say bad word because of demonetization. I think it's something happened with Urjit Patel. So in the context, those who get approached to and get it wrong, I can sympathize. I would have, I think, maybe gone with the accosted me at the security check while I was trying to. The sense of 15 people coming, me at the security check, the tone, you might feel that I'm trying to over justify here, and I sympathize with all those who will go with A here, but I think I'll go with C here because of the recent, maybe that is there in my mind, that Urjit Patel was accosted at the security check. So I'm not, I know I'm not very convincing here, but I'll go with C. Okay, and the fact that I'm mentioning at the security check, people came and accosted me, I'll go with that. Okay, let me just quickly go to the next one. Just answer me. Okay guys, people avoid eating non-vegetarian food dash there is excess protein and fat that may be dash for good health. So now you see clerk SBI level, they are kind of reaching at a different level. Now there are many, I think I'll say close choices here. Because pernicious, I think it's good. As counterproductive to health, not a great word. If I have to eliminate one here, I can eliminate only this. Since harmful, as harmless is gone. Okay, you're counterproductive to good health, you will not say. It's counterproductive to generally process, etc. You will not say, harmful and pernicious is more apt word here. Now if I have to choose between because and since, this is what I read in Cambridge, I'll just share with you. You can also check. There is an important distinction between because and as and since. There is not much between as and since, but between because. Okay, I'll just write it neatly. Because and then as and since. Okay, so what it says is, if your effect is something that you want to stress on more, people avoid non-vegetarian food is really not important. What is more important here is the result. So if you are focusing on the result, you use as and since. As written in Cambridge is what I am telling you. Now because here is, if want to talk upon the reason, if you want to focus on the reason, then you use because. If you want to focus on the result, you use as and since, and therefore since will be more appropriate. I hope this is okay. Why because is not chosen here? Because the reason is the people avoid this one, and okay, reason or the action I should say here. I think result is the wrong word. Sorry, the reason or the action that we are talking about. It has got a distinction. It has some element of confusion. Please understand this. People avoid eating, and pernicious generally, and even if you are confused between say because and since and their usage, just check the meaning of pernicious. Again, it is slow and harmful effect on on your body, but excess protein etc will not have. The pernicious disease has, say you would have read about pernicious anemia. Since is used in the beginning of the sentence. It is since and as, and between because, if you have to choose one, it would have been. But because and since and as equally go here. People, the action here was people avoid eating the non-veg food. As or since there is the result is the excess protein that may be counterproductive to your health. That is what is written here. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so now I hope these are not the level of kids that you were talking about. So you see, they are testing you on the nuances of as, since and because also. Pernicious, yes. Deadly. So when I was finally confused between since and because and all those results, and I can argue here, I know, but just for your information I have told. But pernicious has that effect of it can be deadly. So I think there is, but there are also definition where it talks about is slow and gradual effect on your health. So a lighter word here which we are talking about here should be since and harmful to your health. Okay, so let me just quickly go to the next question. Let's see. Okay, I'll come back. I know this is a bit slow. I'll just kind of pace up now. Indian economy has seen many dash, but this one will surely sound the death dash for us. Again, this is an idiom. Sound the death knell. You should know. If you do not know, this will be difficult. But let us try to again go back and sounding the death knell is the final warning basically. So all those who are getting B is correct. A lot of you were getting sound and alarm. You were trying to connect, but unfortunately. This is not correct. Okay, Indian economy has seen many downswing, downturn, fluctuation, aberrations. All of them. I think downswing and bed will the death bed for us. Sound the death bed is wrong. Sound the death alarm for us. Many of you wrote about it. Fluctuations. Why I will kind of eliminate this because it has seen many fluctuations. Up and down will not sound the death alarm for us, right? So this is something alarming only, then you would have chosen. Minor fluctuation should not cause that death alarm even if you did not know it. Has seen many aberrations. Again, aberration should not be aberrations is slightly from the normal expected, right? So you could have zeroed down on it, but more appropriate to know sound the death knell is the idiom. I just tried to help you by eliminating option death knell. It is the idiom which means the final alarm. Just check sound the sound the death knell. Just Google it, you will get it is an idiom. Okay, knell is that trumpet as someone has just mentioned. So let me just quickly go to the fourth one. Okay, I'll just come back. I was lucky to have dashed the plane crash, lived through the plane crash and come out unpetulant. First of all, there is no word called unpetulant. Petulant is the word behaving like child, angry, or all those tantrums that the kids throw. So this goes from here. Let us quickly see. I was lucky to have survived unscathed, looks good. I was lucky to have lived squeamishly, again is angrily, and come out angrily. So if you are talking about you being lucky, you will not come out angrily, like you will be coming out thanking the God for it, right? So this goes for a toss. I hope you have understood this. Squeamishly is coming out angrily. If you thought you were lucky, you will not come out angrily. That is the logic. Non-injured again is not the word. I guess it is uninjured. So this goes for a toss, and therefore the option C is the correct here. I hope this was very clear. Okay, just check the meaning of squeamishly and petulant, unpetulant. At least I do not know of a word like unpetulant. Okay, quickly solve this for me. Okay, I think I am getting a lot of confident but incorrect answers as C. Let's see. Downslide, I think it's a redundant word. It is downturn or slide. Slide is, talking about it going down. So downturn, slide, slow down, or make sense. Now, by doling up and doling after largest, both are wrong. You dole out, again it's, an idiom which means give out. When, government gives the UP government gave out the laptops, or Bihar government gave the cycles to girl child. So doling out is giving out gifts. That is doling out largest. Largest is some wealth. or something to do with money. So dole out is the idiom here. That should help you. Anyways, dole up and dole after, really, if you knew, maybe I know dole out, that is why I am saying it, but the correct answer here is B. Okay, so let me now just move to the next one. These are the 5 from, okay, this is again IBPS clerk mains. I think SBI is really going to be annoyed with the level that IBPS has reached, and be prepared for such questions. Okay, I'm already getting some answer. Let us see how to approach this question. Okay, Indian cricket has seen many exceptional captain, looks good, sturdy, this is talking more about the physical characteristic, does not, sound great. I will again have a look at it. Stout is, fat and plump. I will, kind of cancel this here itself. Stalwart is okay. Common captains does not really make sense. So I just cancel this. So I'm left with more. But Dhoni was certainly or an diminutive in many ways. If you are started by praising someone, you will not start counting his mistakes, right? Diminutive in some sense. So this is gone. If sturdy was of course physical, serendipitous is by luck in one way or many. Okay, though if it is Dhoni, let's see, creating chances for player, sturdy, serendipitous, then you are talking about all others also, that most of our Indian captains were only by luck they performed well, and creating chances and creating opportunities. I think I'll go with this, and let's just try to now read in this context. Stalwart is dependable, someone who is loyal, someone who can be dependent upon. So Indian cricket has seen many stalwart captains, but Dhoni was certainly extraordinary in one in many ways. As skipper, he mainly focused on cultivating team spirit and creating opportunities. So between this sturdy and stalwart, I will go with stalwart, and hence I will mark D. I hope this is correct. Stalwart is dependable, someone who is loyal, someone you can look up to. Okay, let's quickly do this question. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of correct answers this time. Okay, good. So, even if you look at the last question in this, it's all about vocabulary. It is nothing but vocabulary. If you knew these words, you could have, easily got all 5. Okay, let's see here now. We take it as not just, the session for, sentence completion, also the vocabulary. Let's see here, Pakistani Defense Minister. I hope And we must also know what is happening. I hope all of you would have heard about this news. There was a fake news circulating that Israel has threatened Pakistan. If they send their troops to Syria, they will Israel will attack Pakistan. And the Pakistani defense minister did not even care to check it with his establishment, and he just went on and on Twitter, and he tried to give a reply to Israel. It was as foolish as that. This is actual news. Nobody has made this. Okay, I see a lot of meaning, retaliatory. Okay, let's see. So, for all practical purpose, now just let us try to look at the words here first. Threatened, jeopardized, admonished, rebuked, revoked. You admonish a child, in this international context, and when you are talking about nuclear attack, we will not admonish. This really goes for a toss. So you admonish a child for stealing a candy. You admonish a child for lying. Rebuked and rebuffed. So basically rebuffed is I suggested something to you that you should work on your vocabulary, and you rebuffed it. So that means you did not listen to it, you did not care about it. That is rebuffing. So this is not rebuffing. Basically he actually came back and replied. So rebuffed is also. Rebuked is talk to someone angrily. So this could be one of the possible choices. Not a great choice, but okay, I'll just keep it. Jeopardize Israel. You can't jeopardize a country. You'll jeopardize Israel chances, or its fortune, or its prospects. So this also goes for a toss. Okay, now between threatened and rebuked, let us try to try to go ahead and just look at the word. For all practical purposes, what you are talking about, you will not talk about rebuked. For all practical purposes, you have already done it. So you have done something serious. Rebuked is just talking angrily, but it's more than that. You have threatened Israel. That is the right choice here. I hope I have made the distinction between rebuffed, rebuked, admonished, jeopardize, and threatened. Retaliatory is you do something to me, I'll do something to you. Reciprocating is again, but in good sense. So if I teach you, you will study and get good marks. That or we reciprocate. If I give you a compliment, you give me a compliment. So that is what reciprocating is. I think the counter and retorted again means almost the same thing. Retorted is again in an angry, but in a way in which it's funny also. Angry, but at the same time funny. And riposte is clever reply. So you try to pull my leg, I will post a riposte, or I come up with a riposte, which is a good quip basically. So that is the meaning. So you have learned almost 8-10 words here. Okay, mutual give and take. You are right. I hope this question is clear. Okay, let us just quickly move to the next. We have learned almost 10 words in one question. Weapon, armor, armament, not much difference here. Okay, let us quickly go to the next one. This is again an interesting question, and I'll say quite tough one. Okay, guys. So now you look. This is IBPS clerk mains. So let's see. Let's be prepared for what will come. Again, this is test of vocabulary and nothing else. In fact, this is more than just vocabulary. Even after knowing the words, you will have to think about the what can actually come here. Again, precariat. Again, this is the precariat where the local people, proletariats again were the local, and this is mostly used. This is bourgeoisie, this is how I think it's pronounced, which meant the worker, not the worker class, the class which owned the resources and managers. So managers and the owners were called the bourgeoisie when you read about the communism, etc. And proletariats were the local. So I'm just giving you the word meaning. Again, the common people, the local, proletariat, they are mostly same. Democracy, we are talking about dictatorship. I think autonomy is ruled by one despot or someone. Autonomy is again everyone is free to do. Anarchism is no rule. Despot is again dictators generally are referred to as despot. Now intervention is kind of getting into it. Citation, generally for papers, etc., you cite a reference. Intercession is also some kind of a reference, mostly if you basically, if I have political connections, I can get a license for a wine shop. That would be I use my intercession, or the word intercession is more appropriate there. Invocation, I think you must have heard of this word many times. Invocation is when you rely on some text, scripture, etc., to prove your point, or when you invoke constitution. So you say that it is written in constitution and therefore it should be done. People invoke Quran, people invoke Bible, people invoke say Mahabharata or Gita. So you say that since it is written in scripture, therefore it should happen, something like that. Commendation, again I think it's more like recommendation, saying good things about something. Okay, these lines, now even after knowing these meanings, trust me, it is not very easy to answer this. You should have skipped this. Ideally, even I would have skipped this. Even after knowing the meaning, it took me real good time to understand the context, and I was getting in fact couple of them as correct. The line seems to be direct dash to the establishment. Commendation looks good. Intervention to the establishment, I can eliminate this. Citation to the establishment, these lines seems direct citation, no. You cite someone, line seems to be citation to the establishment, no. Citation from will be more. This is cited from this source, should have been more. Intercession to the establishment of caliphate, why would you do that? Now invocation and commendation looks very close choice here, but those who know the context of Faiz, the poet, the man and his work correctly interpret it as communist vision of life with the dash of the dash prevailing, with the democracy of the precariat, the local prevailing. Then it is really not something which is they will talk about. The communist, basically more appropriate word even for the common, if you are talking about communism, will be proletariats. And the dictatorship which happened, all the Russian, how many dictators they had, not a dictator in those correct term as we see it today, but those who came to power just by challenging the bourgeoisie, the ruling class. So it was invocation to the caliphate. This is correct. I have given you the word meaning for all. Minus 0.25, better to leave. So I have just given you the meaning and the context, what it is. So some of them, when they read his lines, Faiz poet, they think he is invoking caliphate, something which is written in caliphate. But those who know this poet thinks it is more, he is more talking about the communist vision, whereas dictatorship and the proletariats are being referred to. Is the correct answer here. It was a tough one, really tough one. Quickly go to this one. Let's see how many of you can answer this. Okay, I think some of you were mentioning, in the last question, communism and bourgeoisie goes together. Also, proletariat goes. So don't get confused there. I think they are equally used in both the context. That is the only hint even I knew. I never read Faiz the poet. Caliphate. I do not know much about what is there in written in Caliphate. So what is he trying to invoke? So I was at complete loss. If I had to choose between proletariat and bourgeoisie, I told you it was not an easy question even for me. So even I would have preferred to skip this question. This one, okay, moral obligation. Someone said, and directly went ahead with. Let us try to quickly go through the options. News and social media companies have moral obligation to ensure that they do not directly or otherwise deliberately distort the fact to their audience and pass them off for news. It is a post-truth world. This is a wonderful word, I think, for vocabulary. This was Oxford 2016 word of the year. So I'll just spend a couple of seconds here also. Word of the year 2016, post-truth. Wonderful word. I think one of the students has also used it on our platform in the demonetization essay. It's a wonderful word. So okay, news and social media moral, first itself looks correct in the world. No, I think if it is a post world we desire, this becomes especially important. Again, this is, you have to understand the meaning of post-truth world we desire. What is post-truth? You will never desire, if you knew the word post-truth, you will never desire it. Post-truth means it is not as in, post-war. It is actually means that the truth has lost its significance. Now the world that we inhabit is something where it is totally governed. I'll just come on screen for the word post-truth. So post-truth here means that the world has lost significance. It has lost its moral nature, wherein people value truth. So we have moved beyond truth and are now become so materialistic that only our ends are justified. So it was used in context of Trump, that he's lying blatantly just to, and he's invoking people in name of patriotism, etc. He is not giving the correct reasoning and logic. He has now moved into post-truth era. So that was the word post-truth. And if you knew post-truth, you will not go with, if it is the post-truth world we desire. It is really not something that you will desire, right? So I think that is why I think moral obligation, I would have also gone ahead with that. I did not even see what the option was. Thankfully I read this. Okay, let us quickly read the next. Moral commitment, otherwise deliberately tarnish their fact. The post world we denounce. All these words, they really do not go together. I'll just kind of keep it. Moral responsibility, okay, misrepresent the fact, and the post-truth world that we inhabit, this becomes specially important. Please try to, I'll again explain this, the last one. Purports, basically government purports something which is, not really likely to happen, but it purports, it tries to kind of say it can happen, but in fact there is, it really does not have the backing. I will say that my country is absolutely secular in nature. It purports that belief, but it knows that there are some communal tension underneath it. So that is purporting. Okay. Then you have besmirch and stigmatize. I think both are, besmirch is again harming your reputation. I think stigmatize is to denounce someone, to talk lowly about someone. If you have stigmatized him from the society, he is then stigma to society. So that is how it is used. Implication, moral implication, enhance the facts, again does not make any sense. So I think we can eliminate this part here. Purports to ensure, have moral purports, does not make sense here. Now here I think desire went out of our choices here, because we told you the meaning of the word. Now just look at the sentence and what it means. Just listen to me. News and social media companies have moral responsibility to ensure that they do not directly or otherwise deliberately misrepresent the fact to their audience and pass off them news. if it is a post-truth world we inhabit, this becomes especially more important. Why? Because in this post-truth world, already we are listening to a lot of lies. So it becomes moral responsibility of all these media companies at least to control those lies and not distort or play with the words, but to present the fact as it is. If you did not know the word, you would have gone ahead with A and got it wrong. The answer here should be C. I hope, just look at the level of the clerk mains here. Let's quickly see fifth, who can quickly answer. Okay guys, I think this was the only simple one here, and I think most of you, yes, it was a setter compared to what other 4 questions were. Okay, so protest a benevolent society does not make sense. Benevolent is kind. Pre-Adamite, again, they have not refrained from using such word. It has some biblic reference that mankind existed even before Adam. That is pre-Adamite. We do not even know about this. Why will we protest about it? Preeminent, again, preeminent is someone who is well respected in society. I can eliminate just from here. Venerable, again, is someone who is respected. We venerable elders and knowledgeable people. So only sense, I'll still read. Long protested is patriarchal, which is basically governed by male dominance. That essentially prohibits women, again, makes sense. Patriarchal male dominance, trying to show its dominance on women from traveling, marrying, or attending college without permission from male relative who is called their guardian. Okay, I think this is mancipal is a good word. The guy who basically you appoint to buy your provision, etc. Protector, custodian, steward, mostly they have very similar connotation. Okay, now just given some word meaning, etc. I think there were no sentence filler in IPPB, SBI clerk and IBPS clerks pre, so we did not get a question. Now let us move to the final set. I hope this is visible to many, and I hope all of you who were complaining about very easy questions are now happy. Even if you did not get the way to solve, I think you have enriched your vocabulary and all your qualms about things getting slow. I hope I made clear why I was going slow, why I was trying to build a reference, why I was trying to show you a methodology to work. Even with that, there were few questions. Even after knowing all the words in vocabulary, we could not crack. So that is the level of examination. That is why we plead you guys, plead with you guys to read and develop your vocabulary. I hope you will appreciate that. Now let us try to do at least there are 5 questions. I think we are already touching 8:30. My agenda was only till 8:30. I'll show you a couple of questions, give you 3 for the homework. We'll show you some more questions and we'll just close like that. So try to read this question and answer. This is SBIPO mains, the sentence filler question which came. Okay guys, I'm back. Okay, I'll just come back on screen. So this is just an introduction for the next class, basically when we have about the SBI PO. I think, this will not go, I think we are already 1.5 hours here. I'll just show you, I'll do this question anyways. I'll show you the questions. Come prepared because this requires a lot of reading. Trust me, this is lifted from Economist, wonderful magazine. It's my personal opinion. I lost some respect for the magazine when it went ahead and directly called that of the two choices between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi, they will not vote for Narendra Modi. I would have if I was their magazine editor, I'll say the ground remains open for all. I do not know who should be the better choice. Let the people decide. But they categorically went ahead and said, between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi, they will not choose Narendra. It's my personal opinion. I should not be saying this maybe. But I somehow kind of lost some respect to this magazine there. But it's a wonderful magazine. Trust me. If you get your hands to it, please read. This is directly lifted from there. That is why I ask you to read. A wonderful language choice. Core British, the words they use, the way they use words, it's exemplary. You will be, if you enjoy, if you cherish the good usage, you should read Economist. Okay, opinion, I always tell you to form your own, not even take suggestions from us. You should always have a broad mind. You should listen to everyone, synthesize the information and form your own opinion. Okay, so I'll show you how you are expected to proceed on these questions and then maybe call it a day. Okay, so if I look at the sentence here, business is instead moving to digital. The first word, just look at what I will focus on is instead moving to. That means something which comes here is in contrast to the digital native insurance. Is that clear? Am I clear there? So the business is instead moving to digital native insurance. That means the word which comes here, because of this instead here, something which is coming here should talk about which is non-digital in nature. If you read here, we will do it together. It is talking about more about the digital insurance or the digital etc. So it should ideally not talk about the digital part. It should talk about the conventional part. That is the hint that I am getting here. Let me just confirm my bias. Many of which are offering low premium to those willing to collect and share their data. Yet the biggest winners could be the tech companies rather than the firm that now dominate the industry. Okay, so now because of the move, there are very low premium being offered, and all these data holding companies are those who are more likely to benefit, not the firm who are dominating. Who would be dominating these industries now? Low premium, we are talking about policy holders. We can see these are the words for insurance companies, right? Insurance, anyways, explicitly written, nothing to infer, is increasingly reliant on the use of technology to change behavior. Firms act as helicopter parent to policyholder, warning of impending harm, slow down, reduce your sugar intake, call the plumber, the better to reduce unnecessary payout. So what is this talking about? Currently also, all these insurance companies, the big insurance company are acting as the helicopter say parent. Basically they are getting data from somewhere, and once they get data, they go and warn their say policy holder, because their premiums might increase, so they should be careful in their behavior. Yet this sort of relationship relies on trust, and Googles and Apples of the world, on which consumer rely day by day and hour by hour, may be best placed to win this business. So all insurance is the business of trust which they are talking about, and this business are anyways gathering information and going back and giving feedback. So I'll just come back on screen. Just think for a moment, which company will be more suited to do so? The company which is already collecting the data, which is the Googles and the Apples of the world, and not this insurance company which will be reliant on a tech company to get this data, and they are not directly related. They are relying on a tech company, relying on this data, and then giving the feedback and working on trust. So basically there is an intermediary, and this intermediary is very powerful, on which already people are building their trust on. So these companies, the Googles and Apples, are likely to benefit more. That is the essence of the passage here. Okay. So now let us go back. We have already got the hint. What is this sentence, preceding this will be talking about? It will be talking something about the, company which is working traditionally. Okay. Again, let us try to read all the 5 options. The growing mountain of personal data available to individuals and crucially to the firms, giving those with necessary processing power ability to distinguish between low risk and high risk. It does not talk about. So businesses instead does not make sense. There is no contrast. It is also talking about the digital company itself. Cheaper sensor and tsunami of data they generate can improve our life. Black boxes in car tell us how to drive more carefully, and wearable devices will nudge us forward towards healthier lifestyle. Again, it is talking about the tech company itself. So businesses instead moving to digital native does not make sense. I started my story with the digital aspect, and I am saying businesses instead moving to. No, it's not moving anywhere. We are still talking from digital to digital only. Let's quickly move to the third one. The better behavior resulting from smart devices is just one threat to the insurance industry. Now it is making some sense. Conventional risk pools for home or car insurance, for example, are shrinking as preventable accidents decline, leaving the slow-footed giants of the industry at risk. Businesses instead moving to. Now do you see this entire 2-3 lines are talking about the conventional insurer, and now the business is instead moving to digital native users. I hope this is clear. Okay, so this is making perfect sense. I'll still read the others. The uncertainty that underpins the need for insurance is now shrinking thanks to the better insight to the individual risk, and again, but instead moving to. Again, this is kind of corroborating, and businesses moving to would have made more sense here. The data has enabled insurance company to gauge the situation and plan accordingly, and businesses instead moving to. Again, does not make sense. So I hope you understand the contrast which they want to clear here, and that is why this question is given to you. I hope I have taken at least 4 or 5 minutes to how do you improve your vocabulary by learning words. I have already told you how to learn word. Mug it up by rote, by mnemonics. Contextual root, if you want to learn by root, it is a little longish process, but if that is what helps you in context, story making, contextual reference, any which ways, but you will have to build, you have to read more and more to get this, and that is why C makes more sense. I hope I have made myself clear. Let us try one more maybe, and then we will just call it. This is trust me, again picked from economists, and this is anyone, if you even understand job market very well, you understand what unionize is, what minimum wage is, how this article, trust me, talked about the contrast in the behavior, why these guys unionize are taking or going towards something which is not suited for them on surface. So just read this, it will become clear to you. I'll be quiet for a minute, just read it. I'll explain that to you. Okay, guys, I'm back on screen, and just to give you some, please don't feel bad about it. The day from when we started, this is SBI PO mains, right? And cutoff really was not that high, but just look at their English now, and when we ask you to try to at least comprehend what we are trying to convey, SSC CGL, we can still understand that, with learning the nuances, the grammar, you can understand. Just tell me, how will you survive such English if you do not work actively towards improving it? Clearly, these questions indicate that SBI PO, for that matter IBPS PO, they want you to work hard on your language skills. I hope that is very clear, and you will start reading, you will start taking the language seriously. So all the time when you get bored after 3-4 hours of maths and DI, next 2 hours just sit and read good English. I think there is plenty of material available across the net. This is again a very tough, I'll say why it is tough, because again it is picked from economists. They have just picked 4-5 lines from here. The contextual reference in which this article was given, it is missing here. So it will become very difficult if you, even if you are an economics student, this will be contrary to your knowledge. You will always say a unionized worker group will always fight for minimum right wage. The article header itself called for why are they doing it. It was contrary to the obvious perceptions of people that unionized workers want minimum wages. That is why we form unions, right? So I'll just give you some background and some reference here. Why people form union? Because if I go and work in a factory, as an individual, I cannot go to my supervisor and say, sir, mera 10 rupees salary badha do, or just increase my wage by 10 rupees or 20 rupees. I cannot do that, because manager is shesha chal, you don't want to work, please go out. I have many other people from my village who want the work here. So that is the problem. There is exploitation of single worker. Therefore the concept of union came. Why concept of union came was to help people come together and fight for their right and not get exploited by the factory owners, or for that matter any place where they are working. So that was the concept of union. Then there is a term you will hear a lot about, collective bargain. They will always talk about collective bargain. So it is implicit that ki agar humne mil karke, if we have increased our wage by 10 rupees, then the next one will not come and say ki sir mera 5 rupees aur se aur badha do. So collective bargain will be, they will choose a representative of the union, they will form a union, they will choose a representative, they will come and they will bargain with the management that this year we should get 10% hike because you have formed 20% profit. So that is the entire history, or say how the unions are formed and what is done. Now just look at this passage. It's contrary to what I have been telling you for last 5 minutes. These guys are now talking to the management to remove them from, or the minimum wage should not be applicable to them. It sounds so foolish, right, with our whatever little knowledge of economics we have. But I'll just give you the contextual reference again. What happened was, this is somewhere in US. Why these guys are doing it? But at the how unions have evolved these days, that the union leaders etc., all they are caring about is their power, their clout, their hold over their own people, and how hard they can bargain with the management. So they say the moment they fight for the minimum wage right, they become irrelevant. Now every single person, the moment these guys form a union and they have say suppose there are 200 workers in the factory, 100 workers formed union, they fought with the management, they formed a minimum wage. Now all these 100 guys who were anyways non-unionized, once you set a minimum wage, everyone gets benefit of it, right? Now just look at these guys. Anyways these 100 were not giving them any value, and now their own people will also not give them any value. That is the reason why they are going. Just think about the kind of passage they are giving you out of context and out of reference without explaining these things. So what they expect you to have is a wonderful reading habit, and good, I think, sense and hold over a lot of other topics. So that was the story behind this. Now read it and tell me what would be the correct answer. Okay guys, I can understand the frustration. I think I am getting a lot of correct answers already, and there are people who are confused between C and D. I think many of you are already writing D, which is the correct answer. The labor ethos of worker solidarity seems hollow. It will fit because this should not be, because this is what should ideally have happened. So if I am fighting for the rights, I have to fight for the right of people. What is union for? For the upliftment of these so-called people, right? So now if I don't care for my other 100 people just because of my power, so C is directly contradicting the tone of passage here. So they are actually not bothered about them, and that is a hollow promise that they are doing. So D is the correct answer here. Someone said that why put so much effort in SBI PO? You can prepare for say CAT itself. I will say that is exactly what I did in 2008. I prepared for CAT as well as PO. Nobody is asking you to appear only for SBI PO. If you prepare sincerely, you prepare hard, you can crack CAT also. And if you feel, it is all about choice. If you do not want to become probationary officer, you want to pursue career in management, become crack CAT and do it. Do we discourage you from doing it? No. And the kind of preparation that we are doing here is seriously top-notch level. So you can crack CAT also, trust me. Work on your English also. The only the problem you will have because of your poor reading habit, if you do not have cultivated it so far. Rest, I think all the concept of math that we have discussed here applies. Instead of the puzzles there, you have more number based reasoning section which is tested. So I think there is significant overlap, if you ask me honestly. Okay, so with this I'll just move out of screen. I'll show you some questions. Just think about them, try to read about them, and build a good reading habit is what I'll say. I am just showing them for 10 seconds. They are all, when you read it is good. Okay, so I'll just kind of finish with this. SBI PO solution, it will come on screen. I'll just quickly not show this to you. Okay, I wanted to move, I went ahead an extra screen. Okay, so I'll just come back again and some more gyan with that. I will okay, I will not end my video this time before time. So all I request you guys is to read. Try to understand the significance of reading, having a good vocabulary in your examinations. So we have to, we have done enough of quant section. We have to really score very well. Try aiming for, if we have to score above 25, I think should be the target for all you guys. Reasoning, it becomes difficult. We understand 10 marks is sitter, one puzzle 15. So 25, 13 maths plus 15 will give me 45, and try for at least 15-20 here. An ideal score, if you have good reading habit, good vocabulary, 25 you can score in English. The kind of maths we are done, and with 1 month of more practice to go, we can do another 25 there, 50 marks there, and another 15. So 65 marks looks, even if the paper is really of the difficulty level and competition, I should be pretty safe. Worst case scenario, subtract those 5 marks there in English, where in 15-18 I will get maths 20 to 25 any which ways. There is no logic for not scoring heavily in maths, and then reasoning section between 10 to 15. You have to get at least one puzzle right, and that also in 20 minutes, your 10 questions plus one puzzle. So let's see how things unfold. I hope you guys are practicing a lot. You're using the platforms like GradeUp, you're using our Facebook platform and practicing a lot. Guys, now will be time, after this week we'll enter into April with tomorrow blood relations. I think Abhishek sir will finish on Saturday. He'll finish direction. So we would have comprehensively covered, I think, the chapter till prelims. Start taking mocks now. By any test series which you feel is good. Your friends are already giving you the opinion. We have already told you about the importance of taking tests. It's very important. Before you attempt your first on-screen test, you should have taken at least 10-15 tests. So that is my gyan for today, and I think with that I will close. After this week, start taking mock and analyzing. That will become very, very crucial. Okay, so with that, let me call it call off just for today, and I really appreciate your patience. I hope you have learned something and make best use of it. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.